How do you know which dental school you should choose? If you have the opportunity to choose between a couple of dental schools, which one should it be? Hey guys, I'm Dr. Justin Griffin, and I have this YouTube channel. I'm grateful that you're here. And if you're new here, welcome. Glad that you're here today. I hope you enjoy the content that we're putting out. Let's get right into it. I've been through dental school myself. I currently have two sons that are in two different dental schools, actually coast to coast. And we have a job here at my office that is like for pre-dental students, and I've had four already work here for a year and then go right into dental school. So I've been exposed a lot to, dental schools and which ones to choose and the factors to go into it. And what I have done is I have put 7 factors, 7 criteria that you should consider when thinking about which dental school to go to, or maybe even which one to apply to. Now, there is one that I'm going to mention that seems very obvious, but you would be surprised. It doesn't make the top 7 because it is like so fundamentally required that it's obvious, right? Like accreditation. The school must be accredited. If it's not accredited, you're not going to get an actual dental license. So keep that in mind. And make sure the schools that you're interested in, because believe me, people are always like, I want to go to Miami, I want to go to New York, I want to go to LA. Make sure the school is accredited. Now, having that off the table, I now have 7 criteria that you should consider. And I'm going to rank them in order from least important to most important, in my opinion. IMO. Okay? All right, number 7, you won't like this. Location. Look. There are dental schools that are in the snow, and there are dental schools that are in the tropics. And we all would rather be in a tropical location. But ultimately, is it like, well, I will only be a dentist if I can go to Charleston, South Carolina, or Miami, or LA. Otherwise, I'm going to pick another field? No. A lot of people actually limit their access and limit their opportunity because they only apply to a handful of schools that are in locations that they want. To me, if you want to be a dentist, you apply everywhere that you can within reason, independent of the location, because it could be Case Western in a freezing cold area that you actually get warm fuzzies from. You like them, they like you, and they accept you, and it may be the only school where you get accepted. Okay, I actually had that experience at Case Western, and so that's why I mention it. Freezing cold, but what a great and warm faculty. I really enjoyed my time there. And the only reason that I didn't go there is because of criteria number 1, which we'll get to in just a minute. All right, so number 7 would be location. It really should not even be involved in the decision-making process. I see this even with nursing school, hygiene school. People apply to like 3 or 4 schools right around them, and that's it. To me, if you want to be a hygienist, you got to be willing to go to some of these areas, maybe where other people don't want to go. Then you'll get in, and you might get in a year or 2 faster. Okay, so location really shouldn't play a role. Number 6, it is something that should make the list, but no one considers, and that is, does the curriculum include any business? Most of the students that go to dental school are going to end up going into private practice or even going into practice working for a corporation or as an associate or something. You need to have some business skills. I'll make a whole nother video about what business skills are important, but I remember the one thing that I wish I had learned coming out of dental school, which was so important, were things about business. Okay, so you learn how to be a good dentist, but you don't learn how to run a business. Okay, so that makes it at number 6. Number 5, I would call the curriculum order. Okay, so one of my sons is actually in his first year, and he's already seeing patients, which frustrates my other son, who's in the end of his second year, and he's just now starting to see patients. That may or may not be important to you, but it's something that you should consider. If it is important to you, then check out the curriculum order and say, oh, I would rather go to this school because I start to see patients earlier. Or I really want a good didactic foundation before I see patients. I would rather start seeing them traditionally in the 3rd and 4th year or into the 2nd year. So that's something to consider, is curriculum order. Number 4, does the school have a specialty emphasis? All right. And strangely, the specialty emphasis may actually be determined Because they don't have a specialty there. Let me tell you what I mean. When I was in dental school, they had an oral surgery residency at my school. I did very little oral surgery because all of the oral surgery patients would get fed to these residents. Contrasting that with orthodontics. When I went to dental school, there was no orthodontic residency at my school. We saw all of the orthodontic patients, which means you get to do a lot more orthodontics in a school like that. I went to school with my best friend at the same time, and in his school, he did very little to no orthodontics. I did 2 full sets of braces for 2 years following patients, and I had other cases too, but the requirement was to start and finish 2 complete orthodontic cases with ceph analysis, everything, okay? Most dental schools don't provide that type of training as they give it to the orthodontic residents. So it's something to consider. Are you going to learn about implants? Are you going to get to place implants as an undergraduate dental student? Is there orthodontics involved? If you want to do that, how much pediatrics are you going to get to do, or periodontics? So consider the specialties that are emphasized amongst the undergraduate dental students. That is something you might want to consider. Number 3, this one is actually a little more important. Some schools are devoted to research, and you can just tell they're a research-emphasized school versus a clinically approached school. So if your school, if a school that you're applying to ranks really high on research on the U.S. News and World Report rankings, then that may be good, may not be good. Maybe they rank really high on the clinical aspect, and it's something that you'll want to consider that way. So if you're wanting to be a clinical dentist, you may not want to go to or apply to a research-emphasized dental school. And the reverse is also true, something to really consider, because when you graduate, you want to be able to do what you've been trained in. You've been trained in a bunch of research and you go practice clinical dentistry, may not be the best combination. Number 2. Student reviews. I would say student/graduate reviews. It's really important to connect with either current students in the school or recent graduates from the school and ask them about everything. Ask them about the cost. Ask them about the city. Ask them about life as a dental student there. Ask them about what class is like there. If they get respect from the teachers and professors and dentists that work there, or if they get kind of put down and treated badly. How stressful is it? How much do they assist you in your success versus try and block you from success? Get those reviews. It's just like getting a Google review at a restaurant. You'd like to know people that have experienced it before, how they felt when they were there, and if they would go again. If they could choose again, would they go back to that school? I think that's going to play a big role in your experience for the next 3 or 4 years of your life. And that brings us to number 1. The number 1 criteria is cost. I know. You take away all of these other things, at the end of the day, you're going to have a bill to pay when you graduate. And I think it's really important to consider costs. Most dental students are coming out of school now with $300,000 or $400,000 worth of debt. And I just want you to know there are some schools that are actually pretty affordable. And there are some schools that are actually extremely expensive, and that includes state schools. Traditionally, state schools, if you're a resident of the state, they used to be cheaper. Not anymore. Their tuition has skyrocketed, and now they're as expensive, and in some cases more expensive than private schools. Private schools used to be, I'm going to pay more, but I didn't get into my state school, and they accepted me, so I'm going to go there, and I'm going to get a lot more debt. You need to start doing some math on the debt from dental school, but cost to me was the number 1 reason why I did not go to Case Western. I really wanted to go to Case Western, but MUSC at the time in Charleston was about half the price, and I wanted half the debt and half the stress, and so that's where I chose to go. And I'm not unhappy with that decision, but I just wanted you to know if the cost were the same, I would have gone to Case Western. Okay, I hope that this has been helpful, and I know it's really tough to figure out which schools to apply to. It's even harder if you get accepted into multiple schools to figure out which one you actually want to attend. So I hope that these criteria help you in your decision-making process, and please comment below if you have any questions or thoughts on this subject. All right, Smile Doc out.